Hey everybody, Jason, the Kentucky Fried Ham. Today I have brought you back to, where am I? Old Fort Harrod State Park. And as usual, this was not the intent. Well, actually I did plan to come here, but I wanted to come to a couple different parks. Today is July 20th, 2024. It is Support Your Parks weekend. So I had a list of activations scheduled I wanted to do. So I went to my first park, Isaac Shelby. Very cool little park, smallest park in Kentucky's state park system. There's never anybody there. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. There's a bunch of people there today, so I'll kind of tell you a little bit more about that as we go. But this was my planned second activation. I ran out of time at the other place, so I ended up coming here. So I think what I'm going to do, the picnic shelter is not reserved today. It's the first time I've been here when the picnic shelter is available. The park's actually really busy too. I don't want to put anybody else on camera here, but there's families playing catch and stuff across the fields where I normally set up. So it's not a lot of room to set up, and I wouldn't want to bother them anyway. So, all right, I think I'm going to set up on this other side over here. I did not realize. I hope I have a cable that's long enough. And there's power lines. Okay, good. They stop right there. So I'm going to kind of come down this way a little bit. Actually, I think it's going to be better over here. So the restrooms are right here next to me, which I didn't realize. I don't want to be in anybody's way blocking the restrooms here. So let me come down this way. All right, so you've seen before the spike I have. I did go ahead, I was having trouble, the radials that I had set up before. I bought cheap bullet connectors from Walmart and they kept coming loose. And I ran out of power poles. I was making some cables. I ran out of power poles, and so I decided to just go ahead and order some green ones. And so I remade my radials with power poles, so that should work nicely. The other thing I did, and I'll show you this as I set it up, is I added a coil bypass, which isn't strictly necessary in this coil because you can just raise the collar all the way to the top. But I found that it's a little bit kind of, I don't know, it just kind of wobbles around a lot, doesn't make good connection. And I usually only use 30 and 40 meters here, so I can kind of leave the coil set up where I want it to be, and I'll have to adjust it a whole lot. So I like having that option. And the other thing I did is, you can see this string here. So I tied knots in this string. I tuned the antenna at home, and I tied knots in this string for each band. This is just Mason's line that I had laying around. I was using in the garden, and it's nice bright orange, so that helps my cause here. So what I'm going to do, I just measured this so that the loop, or excuse me, the knot on 20 meters is the first band here. When you hold this tight, just kind of goes right there to the top of the coil. I've got my bypass in place, so that should be good there. So you can see I just remade the same bundles of radials I had before with a power pole. Same idea. Take off my bongo tie here. And I just pitch these out. Because I wrapped them in a figure 8, they just spool nicely, spool out nicely. Well, unless I grab onto the end of them as I throw it. There we go. Power poles for the win. All right, so I just take the first one and I walk it out. Well, yeah, where I caught onto the end, I really tangled these guys up. That's what I like about this silicone wire as well. It's super, super easy to untangle. So I'm just gonna walk this guy out this way. Walk this guy out roughly, oh my goodness, this way. this guy, run him out this way. And then this guy out this way. Like I said, these got twisted because I got it caught on my finger as I threw it out. Typical comical style here. All right, so let me get this guy out. And I just have, I've talked about this before, but I just have 8 5-meter radials, so that gives me 40 meters of radials, which technically is 1 full wavelength on the lowest frequency I want to operate. But I can tune this antenna all the way down to the bottom of 80 meters, the CW portion, without a tuner, which is really cool. Because when I bought the coil, the guys at Wolf River Coil said that I could get to the voice portion of 80, but I would never be able to make it down to the CW portion. But clearly that's not true. So just to talk a little bit about the other park. So I went to Isaac Shelby, and like I said, there's never anybody there. And it was, there were 3 or 4 people there when I got there. Let's see, which side of the table do I want to be on? I think this one's probably fine. So there were never is anybody there, but there were 3 people there, and they were all talking, so I thought they were a group. It turns out they were not there together, although they didn't know each other. And so they were talking, and I walked up and they kind of waved, and I went over and started talking. I wouldn't have wanted to set up anyway there with them there because it's such a small park. There's really no way to get out of their way, or I wouldn't have bothered them. So I didn't want to do that. But 2 of them left and the other lady stayed and just kept talking. And so we ended up talking for about an hour, which is all the time I had there. That park closes at 5. And I had planned it first. As usual, I hoped to get out earlier in the day.
Power on.
But it ended up not working out that way, as it never does. So I got there late and then found like somebody who wanted to talk my ear off, which was fine. It was nice. She was a nice lady, and she was kind of from that area, which is not my normal. It's a little bit far out for me. But anyway, so that's why I came here. I had pre-scheduled all these activations on the POTA site, and that one was kind of, the time was coming to an end. The park, like I said, closes at 5. This one's open. I think this area of the park is probably open most of the time. Could be wrong on that, but I brought my big battery and everything today because I had thought that I was going to have, going to need it and have multiple parks. But I have that little talent cell. Oh, what is it? Let's see if I can get I have that little talent cell lithium polymer battery. But I don't know, it's been, I don't get very much time out of it for some reason. So I think I need to get a Bioenno or something that's a little more reliable. And as usual, I have forgotten my watch. as well as the part number. So give me just a second here. All right, so let's see, 20 meter CW, today is the 20th of July. Been listening here for a while and haven't heard anything. Oops, turn my key around. So I don't know what the bands are like today. They've been getting a little bit better. We did have an X flare earlier this week. However, last night I was playing in the RANDOMGRAM contest. I'm going to record a CW memory here. Let me try it again when I do it correctly this time. Alright, let's see if that works. There was something funky about the first one I recorded. Let's see how this goes. Oh man, I can just barely hear you. Now somebody's car alarm's going off. But yeah, as I was saying, if you've never participated in the RANDOMGRAM contest, I would highly recommend it. Super fun. Basically, you get 10 random 5-character code groups, and the object is to transmit all of your code groups and have them copied by others, and then copy as many other code groups as you can. And you can work the same station on one band as many times as you want. You only get points for transmitting each code group once, but by transmitting them multiple times, of course, you get more chance of somebody copying them. And then when you're receiving groups, you can just listen. In fact, you don't even have to be able to transmit. You can just copy code groups just as a shortwave listener. And you get 1 point for every code group you correctly copy, and 2 points for every correctly transmitted code group. Usually the events are pretty short, a couple of hours. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. They tend to have them all over different times, like in the middle of the day sometimes, so I can't usually do it, but it was 7 o'clock Friday night last night, which was cool. Weak stations today. I don't know why this guy's car alarm keeps going off either. Oh my goodness. Might move to, see what can this radio do? 40, 30, 20, and 17. I don't think 40 is going to work this time of day. Might try 17, see if I can get some DX. So the W1AW station just hunned me. That's pretty cool. That's a new one. That's pretty cool. I've never had that happen before. Explains why they were 5'9" though. That's a heck of a station. I swear I can hear somebody in there, but looks like it's gonna. Park employee here cleaning up, emptying trash, and I was trying to get out of his way. My cable was kind of across his little path there, but he went around it, so it was good, but I appreciate that. It's starting to pick up wind. It looks like it's going to rain, which is awesome. It's one reason I'm glad the shelter was open today. because we have not had rain in weeks and weeks. We've had little fits and starts here and there, but we're not officially in drought conditions yet, but it's abnormally dry conditions, they say. And all my grass is dead and crunchy, and have to keep the garden watered pretty heavily. So we could definitely use the rain. I'm not going to complain at all. But I haven't been out at all lately. It's just been so hot. We've had heat indexes over 100, like 105, 106 degrees. I'm not adventurous like Dugbo KD7DUG, who hikes to the top of mountains at 105 degree temperatures. I'm a wuss that way. Plus my allergies have been just absolutely brutal. And it's been making it not a whole lot of fun to be outside. Grass pollen levels have been really, really high. Apparently that's one of the things I'm most allergic to because it's been a really bad year for my allergies. Alright, I'm going to go into 30, which is probably going to be fruitless this time of day. But let's see what happens. Alright, so I like to usually be around 10/116 or so. I mean, we're like under 1.2 across the band, so. This antenna was already pretty easy to tune, but man, I'm glad I made that upgrade because that really has helped speed up band changes. Sorry. I'd really like to have a successful activation with this radio. It was a fun build, but if it doesn't get me contacts, then it's kind of for nothing. I don't think it's the radio. I think the bands are just all kinds of messed up. The sun's been angry for so long. 4 contacts. 5 seems to be my rule lately. But W1AW, I mean, that's pretty cool. I wonder who the operator was. And what I should have done is brought my QMX and swap back and forth between the two and see if there's any performance difference. I might do that next time. Because that little thing puts out less power than this. But I usually have better results. I don't know if it's got a better receiver. I can't imagine that it does, but... Spotting me on the wrong frequency. That's weird. The RBN has me on 20 meters, which I haven't been on for a while. Oh, for sure. Well, there's my fifth, so 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Those are usually what I've been getting lately. My last 3 activations, or maybe 2. This whole case gets really hot when transmitting for a while like this. I noticed that last time I used it. Alright, I'm going to call a couple more times, then I'm going to try to hunt some stations. Oh man, I'm losing them. Wow. I was having some weird issues there when I wasn't recording. I don't know what was going on, but the keyer speed kept changing. Like I was hitting this knob, it kept changing. I was trying to send, and it was doing all kinds of weird stuff. I was trying to send my park number to a park-to-park station I was hunting, and the keyer speed kept going up like 13, 18, 17, 16. It was all over the place, and so it was sending really, really strange. I don't know what the cause of that was. So there's a lot of stations on 20 meters right now, so I'm hoping just by slotting in close to one, somebody will kind of just be spinning the dial and hear me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I hunted 2 more stations. So I'm at 7. If I get 3 more, it'd be great. One thing I found, it seems like I was getting out, but I can't be heard, or I can't hear rather. So the P2P stations I was hunting, I was getting 599 signal reports, but I could hear them like 2.2 or 3.3. So I don't know if it's just the receiver on this thing or some kind of weird one-way propagation. I'm not really sure, but it kind of makes me suspicious. I just cannot, I don't know what is happening. I just can't receive. Man. It's an I think. All right, I think that was New Mexico, I believe. AD7HI. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need 2 more. I may wrap it up here in a bit though, because this is going pretty long. He was really, really weak. I was weak to him though too, so I think, I mean, New Mexico, that's expected, I guess. Okay, he got it. Cool. 559. Texas. Nice. One more. Not leaving until I get it. Okay, I may regret those words. Wow. I bet it's Pennsylvania. Oh, Florida. Interesting. You just made my activation KJ3Q, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, making the 10th. I don't have to stay here all night. I'm gonna call a couple more times and call it quits. That was probably the best signal I've had all night, or all afternoon. Alrighty, so there we have it, folks. I believe that was a couple hours, which is pretty abnormal. I mean, well, maybe not. For this radio, it's been a pretty tough slog the last couple times I've had it out, so we'll see. Next time I'm going to bring my QMX as well. We'll compare them side by side and see how it goes, because I built them both, so I want to make sure it's not me. This one is actually a much easier build than the QMX as well. So yeah, we'll bring them out and compare them and see how it goes. But at least I got 10 in the log, so hopefully I got all the calls right, and we'll actually get credit for the activation, and hopefully all the hunters get credit for the activation, because of course that's why we come out and do this. Anyway, thanks for coming along on this adventure again with me, and until next time, 73.